Hi, everybody. I think I'm live, but I'm waiting for myself to show up on YouTube. Let's see. There we go. Now I'm in. Okay. I wanted to pull up the video on YouTube because I'm going to try to timestamp the decks as I go through them. So I'll be learning something new again tonight as well. This is Stephanie, obviously, with Trillium Tarot, and I should put my name up here. Sorry. Why is it not showing that? I don't know. Maybe it's just on my StreamYard. Who knows? Okay, that one shows. We'll go ahead and just leave it there. I am kind of trying to distract myself by doing another live stream tonight. It's been a heck of a day in the news, and more news coming tonight, obviously, as we all know. So I figured I would pull out the decks that I did not get to the last time I went through a... Hi, Joyce. Yes, I am. Pulled out the decks that I didn't have a chance to get to on my last live stream. So tonight I am going to go through 2 tarot decks and 4 oracle decks. Now, the tarot decks I'm going to be going through are the Otherkin tarot by the same artist. Ooh, wow, that light is terrible. I may have to go dark again and turn off the lamp when it comes to going through cards. The Otherkin tarot is by the same artist that did the Line Strider tarot. And she also did an oracle deck. Oh, I think it's Herb Witch or Hedge Witch Botanical Oracle, which is another good one. I like anything herbal or plant related. So same artist, same general style of artwork. I'm going to go through the Silver Witchcraft tarot, and then I am also going to go through 4 witchy themed oracle decks. I meant to do that before when it was closer to Halloween, but I may as well go through them now. I like anything kind of witchy oriented anyway. So, with no further ado, I am going to switch to my other camera here. All right, and I'm going to see if I can make the light better. Okay. Yeah, that does look better once I turn off the major lamp here. Now, this is, as I said, the Otherkin tarot. It does come in a big case and has a full-size book that goes with it called Meeting the Otherkin. Make my camera bigger here. So the book has a full-page illustration of the card and then a couple of pages, page and a half or so, of description and explanation. And this is not really a beginner-friendly deck, so I would recommend getting into this one if you are already somewhat familiar with the Rider-Waite tarot system. So the first card here is the Fool. I kind of like the fact that these are more sketchy, not sketchy as in shady, just sketchy as in sketches instead of paintings or full-size illustrations, because it does leave so much more to the imagination. However, with this deck, you do need to take a closer look at some of the details on the deck. Here we have the Empress, and you see the crown around her head. The Emperor. He has I don't even know what this wand or the staff of power or whatever is called with the Ankh on the top. The Hierophant with the hand position, the half of the as above, so below, which is what that hand position represents. The Lovers, the Chariot, and here we have Strength. It's the Lion, and even though it doesn't have a lady with the lion, it's a swan with the lion. It does have the infinity symbol, which I believe is a lemniscate over the person's head. The Hermit with the 6-pointed lantern there, and the Wheel of Fortune is obvious. Justice with the scales, and of course the Hanged Man. Here we have the Death card. Temperance, pouring the water out. The Devil. The Tower. And the Star. This one is interesting with the head of the hawk or the eagle on top of the person on the star card. Here we have the Moon with the pillars and the domesticated dog and the wolf. And sometimes it's a crawfish, sometimes it's a lobster or a crab coming up from the surface of the water. Here we have the Sun and Judgment. And finally, the World. So we'll get these guys out of the way. And now I'll just go through the individual suits. So we have the Ace of Cups and the 2. Everything on these cards will be water related because Cups is the suit of emotions. It equates to the direction of west. And the element, obviously, is water. I wonder why the artist decided to use the octopus on the 7 of Cups, because doesn't an octopus have 8 arms? I mean, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I think I just find it interesting, I guess. Page and Knight and Queen and King. So next we have the suit of Wands. And yes, well, not quite sure where the wands would be on the 2 of Wands. Oh, this one, it's the globe. The symbolism coming over from the Rider-Waite is the globe. And then we have the wands behind the, what is that, an iguana? Wearing a waistcoat and boots. Wands there, the 5. 6 with the laurel of victory. 8. 9. And 10. What are you laughing at, Joyce? Page and the Knight. Queen and the King. So let's get these out of the way. And look at the suit of swords. This should be more straightforward. Well, I would guess it would be more straightforward with having an actual sword in the suits, but then we have an ostrich with its what appears to be its head buried in the snow. So not sure about swords in that one, where they might be hidden. 3 of swords, it's usually the heart pierced by 3 swords, so that one makes sense. The 4. 5 would be the fighting. Ooh, maybe rooster fights. 6 would be the journey. 7 is the thief, taking things away. Oh, yeah. See, okay, good. I'm glad it's not just me kind of giggling about the octopus on the 7 card. Oh, the 8, by the way, the 8 of swords is usually the lady with the blindfold surrounded by the swords. So that one makes sense. Oh, and the 10, yep. Everything to the heart. Then we have the Page and the Knight and the Queen and finally the King. And the last suit on this deck before we move on to the next tarot deck is the suit of Pentacles. So here we have the 2 of Pentacles, which is usually the juggling card. The 3, industrious and working. 4. The 5. I like the little mouse head on there. The 6. 7. The 8 is the craftsman who is diligently working on the craft. So, making the pentacles. So this one makes sense. The 9. And the 10 with a happy little family. Zoomed in a little too close there. And we have the page and the knight, the queen, and the king. And I just realized that even though I had the intention of trying to timestamp these cards as I go through them, I did not timestamp even the very first card, or first deck. So I'll go back and do that later. I'll work on that for the next one. All right, so this next deck that we're going to look at is the Silver Witchcraft Tarot. And this one is also one of those oversized boxes. So it does have a full-size book that comes with it. All right, it looks like all of these the cards are labeled. So this is not one of those decks where you have to kind of take your best guess at what they might be. But like I said, I like pretty much anything that has a witchy-related theme. So we'll go through the major arcana first, as usual, and we'll go with the Fool, followed by the Magician, High Priestess, and as you can see, this is more related more to the traditional Rider-Waite, but it does have a twist. And you know me, I like to have different twists. The lovers are going through, I guess, a hand fasting ceremony. Interesting take on the Chariot. Two people holding up a baby in a cup or an egg or whatever that might be. The Green Man for the Strength card. The Hermit. And the Wheel. That must be depicting the three fates. Justice. The Hanged Man. You know, I was never able to do that when I was a kid. I can't imagine being flexible and having enough balance to do that as an adult. Here we have the Death card. I like the symbolism of the transformation between the caterpillar and the butterfly. Temperance. Ooh, and the Devil Within. Very apt symbolism there. The Tower and the Star. The Moon. The Sun. Very similar posture here. In Witchcraft and Wicca, the moon is feminine and the sun is masculine. So I find it interesting that these two cards are the exact same posture, just male and female energies and depictions. Judgment. And finally, the World. All right, moving on to the minor arcana. We'll start off with the suit of cups or chalices in this deck. The three ladies celebrating. The Four of Cups, also known as the Pete card. The 5. 6, the nostalgia and yearning for times past. The 7. 8. 9. The 10 of Cups, the Happy Family card, or the Republican card, depending on which reader you are watching. Page and Knight, Queen and King. Now we are going to look at the suit of Pentacles. It has the coin or the pentacle in the middle there, but if you see in the spider web here, it has the symbol of the triple goddess, the maiden, mother, and crone. So it's like starting a new cycle, starting something fresh. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 9, the 10, the family tradition or legacy, I guess, is the only card that, well, the other word that was coming to mind was hierarchy, but that's incorrect. It has more to do with family and tradition and so on. Queen and King. All right, last two suits for this deck. We will go with the suit of Wands, which is the fire element. 3, the 4, 5, 6, the 7, 8, 9, and the burden, the 10 of Wands, Page. The Knight is not riding a horse, he's riding a camel, Queen, and King. And I was looking down at the cards. I didn't realize that I was traveling on the screen there. Sorry about that. Let's see. The 2 of Swords, that one corresponds. I find that I'm mostly checking to see if there are obvious consistencies between this deck and the Rider-Waite deck. Like this one, the 6 of Swords, is that the one that's depicted as the journey in a boat. 7 of Swords. They're close enough that you can figure out what they mean. 8 of Swords would be the anxiety, or I'm sorry, 9 of Swords. 10, usually the 10 swords on the back. So they're close enough that you can figure out what they might mean, but they're also different enough that they are working my brain to try and pick out the similarities. So it's always a good thing to work out your brain, or work on your brain. Okay. So we have that. Now we'll just do the Oracle decks and we'll wrap up. It's not going to be a long video tonight, but I just felt the urge to do something fun. So this first deck is the Witch's Familiars deck. So this will have to do with animals and some of their messages and some facts about them. It's a nice little one that I haven't really actually spent a lot of time with this one yet, but I've had one of these decks. All of these Oracle decks, by the way, are by the same artist. Well, a couple of people. Barbara Meiklejohn-Free, hyphenated last name there, and Flavia Kate Peters. And all of them, it looks like, are illustrated by Richard Crooks. So you will see similarities in all of these decks. I haven't used Oracle decks as much as I used to in the past. Once I started learning tarot, I kind of focused on that and moved away from Oracle decks. But I remember really liking tarot really liking Oracle decks just to make me think and to work more on my inner self as compared to, trying to figure out the answers to different situations. Oracle cards tend to direct me internally rather than learning what's going on externally, I guess is the best explanation I can have for that. Some of these are sticking together, so I'm trying to go slowly and make sure that I am not skipping any cards. Oh, interesting. Goblin for malice. Transformation, disguise, transcendence, survival. I wonder why the mole card is superstition. Moth would be caution, makes sense. Don't get too close to the flame. Advantage for mouse. Oh, nymph is promiscuity. I guess that would be appropriate. Owl is wisdom. That makes sense. Raven is determination. Seal. Snake makes sense too, as rebirth. Spider would be deception. Swans mate for life, so it makes sense that that one is fidelity. Toad is fortune. Wasp is revenge. Communication, and finally, awareness. So we'll move these guys out of the way. This deck will be the Witch's Kitchen oracle cards. And again, same authors, same artist. I like this deck because it has to do with plants and items that you cook with. So there are some herbs in here. There are some fruits in here, as in the apple, forbidden. Arnica for recovery, reconciliation, and so on. Blackberry makes sense because I don't know if you've ever had the joy of having blackberry plant, well, raspberry plants too in your backyard, but they do take over. Catnip. I am laughing at this because I have one of my cats. It absolutely loves fresh catnip. He doesn't like the dry stuff. He likes the fresh stuff. So the word for that one was bond. It might be more appropriately called an addiction because he's my little stoner cat. Immortality. Dandelion for wishes. I don't know. I think every kid has that, it's not an obsession, but enjoyment of those dandelion flowers when they go to seed and you can blow them to make a wish. When I was little, I couldn't remember the name dandelion, so I used to call them the blowy flowers. What was the other one? I can't remember. Lavender for sleep makes sense. Milk thistle, yeah, it is an intrusive plant, or can be. Mugwort is definitely used for intuition. Have faith like a mustard seed. Definitely be cautious around nettles. But they have their positive uses as well. Patchouli. Rose for romance makes sense. Rosemary, I can totally see that for memories. You can use rosemary essential oil to help stimulate clarity of mind. Seaweed. St. John's wort. Sugar for sweetness. Time for courage. Witch hazel for sensitivity. And yarrow totally makes sense because of getting rid of infections and skin irritations and so on. So it makes sense that that one would be expulsion. All right. Moving on to our second to the last deck. This one is Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards. This one is not going to be in alphabetical order because this is the deck that I had previously used and shuffled up and so on. So some of these particular cards are Sabbats or celebrations. So Mabon would be the balance of between the light and the dark. It's when the nighttime and daytime are equal. There are watchtowers for each direction. There are magical tools. Yule is rebirth, when the Holly King and the Oak King, when their battle ends and life begins anew. Witch is the healer, not the bad guy, not the scary person. Watchtower. Ancestors, obviously remembrance. Cauldron, Lord or God, which is the masculine deity, masculine side of deity. Ritual, the broomstick would be the tool. This is one of the Sabbats or Wheel of the Year celebrations. Spell makes sense with manifestation. Element of earth. Interesting, followed immediately by the pentacle. The pentacle is affiliated with the element of earth. Here's the feminine side of deity, the lady or the goddess. Element of air. High priestess or high priest. Watchtower of the north. Herbal kitchen. Spirit. Candles are tools. These would correlate to the direction of south. So candles would be associated with the suit of wands, in case you're interested. Watchtower of the East, a hex or banishment. Handfasting is another term, I guess, for wedding. It's two people making, well, could be two or more people, I suppose, making a commitment to each other. Scrying is another form of divination, and that's the black mirror that's illustrated. Wiccan Reed, or the ethics or ethos. Look at that, tarot cards for guidance. We like that one. I'm just trying to look on this deck and see. Nope. Those look like they are tarot cards that are illustrated by the same person who illustrates these oracle decks, this Richard Crooks gentleman. So I'm going to have to do a search and see if I can find these specific tarot cards. Of course, it is always possible that they just created them for purposes of that tarot card deck, but you never know. Lunasa, Homeland, Beltane. I know I'm mispronouncing that one. Ostara, and Cloak, and finally the Moon card, or the Cycles card. So one more deck to go through before I call it a night. Again, this was just designed to be a quick way to distract myself. I see I have a couple of folks here, not a whole lot, which is fine. It wasn't announced in advance, so. But these are the 6 decks that I did not go through the last time I did a live stream. So I want to get these taken care of and put back where they belong for now. So this deck is going to be the Dark Goddess Oracle deck. And I know sometimes people are kind of weirded out when you talk about Dark Goddess or the dark side or dark energy. It is just another facet of ourselves. Everybody has a light side and a dark side. Honestly, if you think about it, if you didn't have darkness, you wouldn't be able to recognize the light. If you didn't have light, you wouldn't have the darkness or the shadow. So it really is a yin-yang type thing, a balance. So these cards illustrate different dark, or people or individuals who are considered dark goddesses. I know the names of some of these. Some of these I have never heard of. I have heard of Oya. I don't know anything about this deity. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but she has to do with purification. Inanna is seduction. I know that I'm going to mispronounce that. Kaich, Isis, obviously. I feel a strong affinity toward Isis. Medusa, the appearance is very appropriate. This one I'm not familiar with. Sekhmet, I have heard of. Aradia, or defense. Uzume, persuasion. I'm going to have to spend some more time with this. Hecate. I really also feel another affiliation with Hecate. Pele. Lilith. From what I understand, the legend of Lilith is she was who God initially created to be the female to be with Adam. Except she did not believe she needed to be subject to Adam. She thought that she should be his equal. So then God created Eve, who was considered to be subservient to Adam, and Lilith was got a bad reputation, I guess, for thinking that she could be equal to man. So it makes sense that her card is demonstrating or illustrating equality. Tiamat. Ma'at or Ma'at, Caradwin, Sedna, Pythia. I have just above, on a shelf above my desk here, I have one of those figurines that you can get on Amazon or different stores. I have a figurine of the Oracle at Pythia. She was the Oracle at Delphi, or Delphi, depending on how you pronounce it. And they would have a succession of individuals. It was not the same person for 300 years or whatever. They would, as one oracle would get older, they would bring up a younger oracle to take the place, to make the pronunciations and divinations and prophecies and so on. Guilt. Baba Yaga. I was just reading about this person recently, and I don't remember where. Dear Woman. Fortuna. This is apparently the name of the deity up here, Chang apostrophe E. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Pandora, obviously curiosity. Gaia. Nope, not going to try it. This one illustrates envy, deception, Sheila Nagig, hell, and the last card in this deck is Angana for health. So that brings me to the end of the decks that I was going to go through, but I'm just going to do a quick Google search. Tarot deck. What's this guy's name? Richard. Oh, come on, Richard. What's your name? Crooks. Well, it looks like he has illustrated decks out there, but from what I can tell, they do all look like oracle decks. I may find a tarot deck later on, but for right now, my first search indicates that he does oracle. Anyway, that was a tangent. I don't think I have very many people in here, but thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. I will go ahead and get these time stamped, and then I'm going to switch over to Autumn's channel on Black and Orange Tarot and Astrology for the live stream or for the watch party tonight. So hopefully I will see you there. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.